So we're going to talk about the big stories of the off season.
I think they're the winners of free agency.
Yeah, these fields are fallow.
But we've been waiting to talk to you guys about this season.
De'Aaron Fox is not long for Sacramento. Welcome back to Please Dunk Responsibly. It's Season 2, Episode 1. We have been missing in action for this 2021-2022 season. We were on it for 2020-2021. You know I got to say that at least one time. With me, I'm your host, Ben Rice. With me as well as my co-host,
Bill Webster. Yes, we have been in a multiverse of madness, to say the least. Is what's going on lately, yes.
Imagine this. You're two guys who love basketball but also have to work day jobs and have side hustles that we love because day jobs don't provide us that kind of thing. Plus, we're both parents now, trying to maintain parenthood and our relationships. So it's just finding the time where we both are available to do this podcast has been damn near impossible. How many times have we been 5 minutes away then not done it? What, 8 times, 9 times?
These 8 to 9.
It's madness. Also, you got a home ownership you got to do, fix things up. Always trying to get better, just like any good GM. There, tied it all together.
Yes.
For those new to the program, what we do here, we talk about what's going on with basketball, our basketball memories, and we compare players to beers, breweries to teams, styles to eras, all that fun stuff. Just a really easy, fun game to do. It'll come up pretty naturally, but let's just give everybody kind of a taste of what's going on. So I have just opened my first beer for the day, probably my only beer, let's be honest. I am drinking a Hop Riot IPA from HighWater, sorry.
HighWater, yes.
Yeah, I'm drinking a HighWater Hop Riot IPA, and as a penalty for myself for us being so late coming into this season, I'm drinking an out-of-code, out-of-date Hop Riot IPA. The date on the can, September 4th, 2020. This is a 14-month IPA. So that's what I'm doing as penance to our listeners. I'm sorry. This is my punishment. I'm going to take a drink of this, and I'm going to let you know what player I think this beer might be. Phil, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a similar, not a year old, but an older of the Fog City from Bike Dog. It's also our penance. Probably the last time we were, it was 4 months. We've been trying to do it probably every day for 4 months straight. We did do our wrap-up show from last year, which was great. But we've been waiting to talk to you guys about this season. But yeah, I'm drinking Fog City, which kind of reminds me right now of just the Sacramento Kings in general, hometown team, and what they're going through as trying to find an identity. I think this is a very drinkable beer if you can find it in code. Drink it. It's delicious, soft. Typical East Coast hazy style for the West Coast lovers out there. Very tasty beer. I love it very much. And yeah, the Sacramento Kings are a mess.
Yeah.
They don't know who they want to be. They have really good talent for the first time in, 5 years. They don't have a coach right now.
Yeah. And so I've had a chance to drink this Hop Riot. I'm going to compare this beer to Paul Millsap. One of my favorite players, one of the things that, really got me to appreciate the craft of playing the power forward position. A lot of people were just brutalizing before, and he kind of learned hey, you can have a soft touch, quick hands, play offense and defense. And much like this beer, past its prime, but still pretty damn good, Yeah,
it's still
got its great fruitiness. This beer is a classic West Coast, but I'll hold it up for you here. Pretty murky. Coming in the year, no finger test passed. It's definitely changed in its age. Yeah, that's it. Paul Millsap. There we go. And that's how we do it.
There you go. Very good comparison. I love it.
Boom.
I think they both worked out great.
Yeah, so we're late. Well, we don't have time. We're going to do a really quick episode here. We'll do it. But just future episodes going forward, Phil and I may not even be talking to each other. We've worked out an idea that once we do this episode, we may just put in mini episodes of only one of our opinions, or a little back and forth that's done when we have time individually, and then I splice them together. Let's see if you can notice. Just put in there, do you think we recorded this together, or do you think we recorded it separately? You can just guess. It'll be fun.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of that. We're going to try a lot of MacGyvering trying to make this work. Why, obviously, was with a newcomer to his life and his family, and me just with my own hectic life as we try to somehow splice these things together. But we're getting there. I can see the light.
Yeah.
It's at the far end of the tunnel.
And the best part about this is because we're going to do these mini episode type things, this style, we're also going to open it up to our listeners. You can send us in. You hear our talking points. You can come back with your responses and be featured in an episode following our opinions. We're trying to get some engagement going. So, hey, it's just going to have a lot of fun this year. Season 2, let's see what we're doing. We looked at what we did the first season. Like, we could probably improve this team.
Yeah. No, anything like that, extra content, anything anybody wants to talk about, we're willing to talk about. As we have busy lives, a lot of going on in the NBA. We're going to kind of get this down to 30 minutes or so, but there's a lot. And so we might not be able to get to everything. So anything you guys have comments on or leave or want to talk about, we'll get to it. And maybe we'll be able to do little mini episodes like through the week, just on opinions on what our fans are listening to.
And also check out our Instagram at Please Dunk Responsibly. We'll do some beer basketball memes, self-created. We're not stealing. We do our own work.
We do our own crappy memes
in here and there. Also on Twitter, Please Dunk Pod. It's PLZ Dunk Pod. So this episode, like I said, we're going to try to keep it kind of short, even though I've said this like 3 times already, and we're just running the light. Shot clock winding down. We're doing 3 hot takes each. Phil, you're doing the Western Conference. I'm doing the Eastern Conference. We're doing a hot take on the NBA draft, a hot take on free agency and trades, and a hot take on what's going on so far in the regular season that we might have missed. Then we're going to give you our Is It the Goose Dunk of the NBA season so far? Oh my goodness, it's incredible. But now we got to figure out who's going to go first. We didn't discuss this. You want to flip a coin? What are we doing?
Oh, you should go. You go first.
Oh boy. All right. I'm going to break my rule immediately. I just said what the rules are. That I'm handling the Eastern Conference, but when it comes to the NBA draft, I don't ever care. I don't watch college basketball. It's a completely different game than NBA basketball. So I'm going to talk about the draft pick from the team that I love and adore, the Oklahoma City Thunder, that with the 6th pick in the 2021 NBA draft, they chose shooting guard Josh Giddey out of Australia. Seems to be doing okay on a bad team, helping to fill in the weird bodied Thunder. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has a weird lanky body. He's got a weird lanky body. They got that dude, I forgot his name right now, but they've got a lot of weird gangly bodies, a lot of strange athletes. They are athletes. They can play basketball in some respect across the roster, but it's just a really weird team filled with really funky players, and it's going to be exciting to see how those guys come together, all those draft picks that they've accumulated over the years. But my reaction to this is, hey, hope it works out for you. We're going to a weird NBA, like positionless basketball, skinny, fast, athletic guys who can put the ball in the basket at any position. Pokashevsky, that's the guy, the other weird one, 7 feet tall, like 102 pounds. So, yeah, good enough if you're going for creating a team of misfits to see if you can make them fit. Good enough for me. All right, Phil, since I clearly broke the rules immediately. I know you're a Cavs fan, a Kings fan, but you can still do the assignment of whatever Western Conference team you want to talk about. But really, what's your hot take on the NBA draft this year?
The hot take is, I would say, West Coast got the better of the pick so far, it seems like, in the draft, or at least they're making the most impact.
Oh, shit. Take that, Eastern Conference. You don't know how to draft. You may have gotten Daryl Morey, but you don't know how to draft because he doesn't know how to draft. He's just like, sign him up.
That's right. Well, obviously, the Warriors are using younger talent over the years. A lot of area stuff. But yeah, I think the Warriors, obviously, they're insane. Everybody knows it. They're good. They don't even have playback. It's going to get pretty insane here. Then we got the Kings, who just fired their coach, which was deservingly so, probably a year too late. But I get not doing a COVID year. But yeah, and going with Alvin Gentry, which you can kind of see there's some change. He was kind of the offensive coach. So I don't know how much anything's really changed. But those two probably stick out the most. But I would say Dallas looks really good. The Lakers look like a dysfunctional mess. We haven't even talked about unwrap that.
Oh, we'll get there.
Milkshake IPAs, that team. I think that they'll figure it out because it's LeBron. Whether it's if they can, they will. They'll figure it out. I'm sure Palinka's been on the phone with people left and right trying to say like, we'll take most of the money. Just
That's a conversation for those hot takes on what's going on this season. If you want to hold off on that, but
yeah.
NBA draft. Phil's giving points to the Western Conference over the Eastern Conference. Probably why I also was like, you know what? I'll make my pick Western Conference too. All right, this is the big one. Well, not really. What's your hot take from the free agency and trade session over the offseason?
The Warriors are still better than everybody else despite free agency. I think, and maybe the second thing is maybe Chicago's better than we all thought.
Oh, yeah, because they all got all guards. They did an all guards afternoon.
Yeah, they basically got like Zach LaVine, I think, was on our list last year. It was like, how
guys to trade.
Yeah.
He was in every trade. Like, oh, we got to trade this guy. Who should we get? Zach LaVine. Like, we were doing Harden trades. Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine was like the winner of like the only thing you could give away that somebody would want.
You want to get rid of McCollum, Zach LaVine, but now they're like, no, we're doubling down on this.
They made that work. Russo's great. DeRozan's great. They all work together.
And then you get that little blue guy, Ball.
Players.
Yeah,
and then they got Ball. So they're just like basically saying Zach LaVine show, and we're just gonna give you three guys who'll just keep feeding you the ball.
Just pressure on the defense from all of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't try to bring Derrick Rose back or something like that.
I feel like that's gonna happen.
But yeah, they think I think they're the winners of free agency, and then like I said, the Warriors are by not doing anything.
By not doing anything, yeah, that's a great hot take. I know when we were texting, we were like, "What are the Bulls doing?" And it turns out we're the fools. They knew the entire time. And you said the Warriors are the winners for doing nothing. On the Eastern Conference side, my hot take from free agency and trades is, man, those Magic don't want to do anything. They spent the end of last season just trading away all their assets. I'm going to read to you from their transaction log since the end of last season, from names you'll recognize the most to names you won't recognize at all. Starting with signed Robin Lopez. And then this is a judgment call.
Yes.
This is a judgment call. Re-signed Wendell Carter Jr. and then re-signed Moritz Wagner. And then here we go. Are you ready for this? Those are the most recognized names. How many of those names do you recognize?
One.
All right, great. They've also signed Sindarius Thornwell to a two-way contract, signed Ignas Brazdeikis to a remainder of the season contract, signed Jalen Suggs, waived John Teskey. We all love John Teskey around here. Waived Jeremiah Tillman, future Hall of Famer, and signed guard Michael Mulder. That's it. That's all they've done. The only player that came in the offseason was Robin Lopez, a center, when they already have Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter Jr., and Moritz Wagner, the other guy that we talked about. Their second most, they went to an item they didn't need, and that's all they did.
Yeah, what? You would think they were like...
when a league that's moving towards shooting, they went with, let's get centers. Let's make sure we have a lot of centers.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just who do you think's coming in the draft where you would bomb this hard for? There's no LeBron
there's
coming
nothing.
anytime soon, so it seemed very weird, not to be so close to a playoff team, actually make the playoffs, and then to not, and because of injury that happens to an emerging star player, you just gonna blow it up. It's insane.
It's just I don't understand what they were doing, and I think we even called it last season that the Magic were doing nothing. And they probably
they didn't try to improve.
They didn't try at all.
They just sold everything.
And they're 4-17, so proof's in the pudding. I
mean,
know.
Again, maybe there's a hidden thing that we'll find out later.
What's the plan? There are no desirable players on this roster. Michael Carter-Williams has washed out multiple times. The only guy you got is Markelle Fultz, who might be good now.
Yeah.
What do you got? Mo Bamba?
Yeah, Michael Carter-Williams works on a team like the Warriors where you can come off the bench and be very surprising for 8 minutes. And then you're like, oh, why hasn't this guy been playing? And then it's as soon as you give him something, he's terrible. Again.
I don't get it. So my hot take is I was right. The Magic weren't going to try to refill the stockpile. They didn't. It's shocking how little they did. It is shocking. I'd expected not much, but we got Robin Lopez to back up Mo
Yeah,
Bamba.
usually they'll get somebody. They'll do a Zach Randolph. They'll get, a
Not even
couple
a
on
veteran.
the
Yeah.
edge things that they could trade later, and they just nothing.
A serviceable role player. Congratulations, Orlando. You're doing big things. All right. And then we also need our hot take from the 2021-2022 season so far. I'm going to go ahead and start this one, Phil, if you don't mind. We talked about this a whole lot last season that I'm going to call it, because it's true, the Miami Heat are NBA Finals bound. I'm going to say it. We said last year that they were never going to do anything last year because of all the injuries and shortened season during that finals run, but that they were going to reload, get healthy, and start dominating, and they're doing it.
Yeah, they basically are. They're recovering again. Like the chemistry, they have a team already, so they don't need to do a whole lot because they know each other so well. And like we said, they had that brutal season, just trying to make it to the finals and getting to the finals and just getting beat up so much. There was no way that them or the Lakers were going to make it back because it was too much. Much wear and tear in like 3 months they had off basically to like get ready and come back. Yeah, I think we called that one. So where we think they are. I think Miami is, I don't know. I wouldn't say they're the team to beat, but they're definitely like top 3. Like for
I
sure.
feel like they're going to come into shape. They're going to be they're going to be stoppable. They're not going to be unstoppable. There will be ways to counter them, but I feel like they're going to have they've got a bunch of dogs that want to fight. Like, that's real.
I can't wait for them in the Bucks series. I would assume that they're built for each other, and it's gonna be ugly and physical
and beautiful.
I'm gonna love it.
Yeah,
but those two are like, I'm not counting out Giannis. Like,
yeah, you can't at this point.
As much as again we made fun of him,
and then it turned out he was just practicing. He's like, hey, I'm gonna get these reps in of like sacrifice for the team. And he was
he was making all these sacrifices of getting dunked on and missing blocks, and it felt like he was just getting filler stats that weren't really helping his team. They get Drew Holiday. Now he looks like he's an unstoppable force, and he could do nothing wrong. He's just going to get 45, 10, and 10, and we're just going to be fine with it. And there's nothing they can do.
He's the worst thing you can be. The freak athlete who's also one of those like old school guys, like no easy buckets. Like that's who he is. And it's like, oh, it turns out he's not bad at defense. He's really one of those guys like no easy buckets. And even if make it look like a fool.
And even if he gets shit on, he's going to deal with it. Like, because he's like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get that job.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to deflect it
or something. Yeah.
He's great. I flipped on him.
Yeah.
I think they're the team to beat, but I think the Heat are right behind it. Nets are debacle without Kyrie. They don't know what to do, really. I think I would assume this is going to put a strain on his relationship with Durant, but I know that Durant has like no relationship with anybody, so I wouldn't be surprised if he bailed or just force his way out of there,
or forces them out. I don't know.
Yeah, or Nash takes the fall somehow for it, like for doing nothing. Like it's like, how good of a coach did you really think he was? Like, he had no experience.
I mean, here I'll just say they're bringing in all these old power forwards. I think we need to go digging deep in the bag and bring out of retirement Nick Collison, because Harden and Collison had a magical 2-man game playing for the Thunder. Kevin Durant knows him. He doesn't need to collect stats. He's just a gritty guy, likes to set screens, grab rebounds, play defense, collect charges. I'm sure at 43 and like 6 years out of the league, I'm sure he can come back and do that for the Nets.
It's just funny, like how people think like just a collection of talent is enough, and it's like you have to have somebody who fits. Like Durant worked with the Warriors because 90% was already there.
Yeah,
he just had to be there.
Yeah, and all you had to do was spot up.
It shows how hard it was for LeBron and Wade and them to make that thing work.
Yeah,
because it's like you started from scratch.
It took them 2 years of being together and healthy.
Yeah, to get it right.
And the Nets have been unhealthy, splintered.
Can't get it. So, Harden can't be on the floor at the same time, and then the chemistry. He just doesn't know when to take over, when not to take over. He makes too many turnovers like he normally does, and he doesn't play defense. Yeah, he just doesn't play defense. So that's gonna always come back to bite them in the playoffs. And it's like when you got teams like Miami and even the 76ers are playing better, like you're just not gonna beat Milwaukee. Like like I don't like Durant had to score like 45 points like in one quarter, like just to keep it close. Like they know he can't do that every night. And Giannis will give it up to him. He's a great player, and sometimes he's just gonna go off. But he's like, I'm just gonna keep coming at him, and he's insane. And he just keeps.
Like if he beats me, he beats me. But the other guys aren't going to beat us, and that's what's important. And that's crazy for a team of stacked. It's like even go back to Harden and Collison being a 2-man game. I feel like Paul Millsap and Blake Griffin can both play that Nick Collison role, and yet somehow it's just not clicking. They're both good passers. They're both good screen setters. They're both good rebounders. Yeah. They are Nick Collison, but better, and he just doesn't have the connection with them. I think because he lost any connection with any teammate once he went to the Rockets. When he was the man on campus, he's like, screw my second partner.
The skill set changed and the mindset changed. And so it's like, it's hard for him to revert. He's thinking like, I take shots off and I don't have to have, but it's like, you have to have a rhythm on when you do that. And what do you do when the teams are ready for you and you've been playing each other like multiple times? They're going to start noticing like when you want to take off, when you don't, double teaming Durant, make you when you're tired, all that kind of stuff. And they don't have, and again, they didn't even have the depth, right? Like they lost Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
They gave up the farm to get him. And in doing so, they sold their souls for that one season and it didn't work.
Yeah, he's Fields or fallow. What are you doing? All right, Phil, what's your hot take for the 2021-2022 season over on the Western Conference so far?
I think my hot take is I think that the Kings rebound and they make the expanded playoff. I think they get it together down the stretch. I think with the Nuggets like hurting, losing guys left and right, unfortunately for them, Porter Jr. is having those back problems that I think people were worried about 3 years ago drafting him. Now that he had like really 1.5, 2 good seasons. So with him out, I think this kind of opens the door for that 9th, 10th seed play-in game for the Kings. So I think the Kings somehow make, even though they're slightly below 500, right?
I feel like Alvin Gentry's a seasoned NBA head coach. He's got plenty of experience turning teams like this around, like the Suns, for instance.
Yeah, he's not a bad coach. It's just he's always your what we call like their Nate McMillans of the world, where it's like they'll get you to the playoff, but they can't over the top. Like he's good enough that they're gonna get synergy at some point, I feel like, and go on a run. They had an early run like where it was all about Barn, and then everybody else was kind of just filling through and feeding him, and then they just got out of their way when people started defending that. So. But it seems like they're kind of getting things back. They just got to figure out how to use Mitchell and Halliburton in time, but I think they will. They don't look very good right now, but I think they will be by mid-season.
Well, speaking of, you're kind of hinting at something. How do you feel about those murmurs that De'Aaron Fox is not long for Sacramento?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would suck because I feel like he's one guy who wants to be here. Probably besides Halliburton, but if the Kings were to do something dumb like that, it sounds that would be right up their alley.
Yeah, that's true.
Trading him for Ben Simmons, I don't think is a plus.
What about him and Bagley for Simmons?
I'm getting rid of Bagley
every time.
Bag on Bagley.
Bagging on Bagley. Bringing it back.
Yes. So yeah, anything to get rid of Bagley.
But also not anything. Come on, don't be irrational.
No, I mean, you want to, again, have people who are willing to be here.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, he just signed, I think, again, they're drafting good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Any of those, the ones you want to get rid of, since anybody wants, like Heald, Bagley, the other guys that kind of can, open up the floor a little bit more for all guys. I think it's just, you're going to have to, in a year, to make a decision on Mitchell or Halliburton, and then maybe try to maybe trade one. But I don't think you can get. How do you get a big guy that can score? I mean, I wouldn't flip Mitchell, but
yeah, it's too early. He's doing a good job.
It's too early. It's like, and he's just good on defense. So it's like you can always teach him offense, and so it's like those three guys seem like they want to be here, seem like they're having fun. I just think like that's what happens when you had to draft three, back to back to.
If the Bulls can play with four guards, the Kings can play with four guards. Buddy Hield, what up?
Exactly. They got to figure it out. Like him, Holmes, and then just keep circling into big guys. Like just try to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, really, they're designed. I mean, they're not all great 3-point shooters, but you got Harrison Barnes shooting the lights out right now. You plug him in.
Barnes
rotate him around. Yeah,
he'll fine off the bench, but it's because he's kind of getting paid. But I mean, I think his contract's up at the end of this year, so it's like you would assume he's going to get
year season for sure.
You're just wondering what are you going to get for him.
Yeah. But all right, those are our hot takes so far. We got to get out of here. We're doing a quick episode. This one is a pretty easy question. It's time for Is It the Goose? Our dunk of the NBA season so far. Phil, who you got?
Who does everybody not have? Anthony.
Paging Dr. Green. Needed in the ER. It's Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards with the dunk that should have been counted. Amazing. And I'm sad, like a lot of people, that it didn't count. Amazing that he actually finished it. Unlike John Morant, who like usually bricks it, you'd like to see him finish it. This one got finished and then didn't count, which was just horrible. Murder, and it's like the perfect game getting another one.
Like that one where they called him safe at first base on the final out?
Yes.
God, yeah, exactly. Yep, no disagreement here. So that's pretty much the show. I want to do one more thing I didn't tell you about, Phil. We're going to talk about the big stories of the off season, and we're going to compare them to beers. All right? Players we need to talk about. It's the ones that dominated the headlines last year too. Ben Simmons, LeBron James. Which one do you want, and what beer are you going to compare him to?
Ooh, I still take LeBron right now. I would compare him to, he's probably like a Pliny the Elder. He's been played out. Like everybody knows how good it was, how good he used to be, but it's boring. Just becoming boring, and they're trying to put stuff around him to kind of give him like 1 or 2 more years. But you can see it's coming to an end. But I would definitely take him over Ben Simmons. Failing breweries, IPA. They had all this luster and all this that they were going to turn into something that they didn't, and then didn't happen. That's Ben Simmons to me at this moment.
Oh, you're doing both. Well, great. I because you chose LeBron first, I'm stuck with Ben Simmons, who I will call a Pacifico. Great in the summer, and you need a lime to make it worth a damn.
Well played. Well played.
And since you did both LeBron James to me, is a Bourbon County Stout. He was hard to find. A lot of hype coming in. When you found him, like, oh, this is as good as advertised, and now it's mass produced. You're like, I don't care what he's doing anymore. Space Jam 2, who gives a fuck? I don't care. I'm going to follow the new hot stuff locally. I'm done.
The market.
I'm not that interested. It's like, yeah, I get it. You're giving the fans the finger. You're like throwing elbows into faces, causing blood. Like you're trying to get the hype back, and people are like, he's got a new spark. And like, we don't care. We know you're owned by Budweiser.
We know what you're trying to do here. We're not rooting for you anymore. We're rooting against you.
But yeah, I think that's the episode for now. We're going to keep doing these. They might be weird. They should be short, long. Who knows? It's going to be a weird season. We're out of the bubble, and we don't know how to act anymore. So this has been episode 1 of season 2 of Please Dunk Responsibly. I've been one of your hosts, Ben Rice. You can follow me across social media at BarleyMePod. Phil, where can they find you?
Find me on social media across as Chef Sportsman on Twitter and Culinary Lando on Instagram. Yeah, man, we're going to do the best we can to make these happen. We miss it. We miss you guys. We appreciate the people who listen, and we're going to try to get more content out there as soon as possible.
Yep. So that's it for this episode. So until next time, I'm Ben Rice.
I'm Phil Webster.
Reminding you to
please
dunk responsibly.